See a doodly advert.
Yo, what's up? And we're back.
Hello, hello, hello.
It's been an eventful couple of episodes, hasn't it? With all the, with all the reveals, but now we've gotten to the sort of like stalemate, and we start to see a little bit more character development. I quite like this episode, to be honest. I thought it was, I honestly thought it was going to be like a really sort of iffy episode, but we'll get into that in a moment. So,
I
once again, here, Henshin's right here, starting off with a bit late, so sorry about that, everyone, if you have been waiting to watch. And of course, joining me again today is my good friend Erlem.
hello, hello. We also have a special guest as well.
Oh, do we?
Okay, here he comes. He's a bit camera shy, but say hello.
Arigato!
There we go. That was it.
So yeah, as we all know, we've already got all of the Rangers assembled now. We've also got there's some stuff that we can't really see yet because I haven't really seen it subbed anywhere. But obviously we've got those mini-series episodes yet to be shown. But now we're to the point now where we haven't really got anything to debut yet. We're just into those nice stream of story-orientated episodes. So, with that in mind, what did you think so far of this episode being the first one that doesn't have a debut as such?
I really liked it. It was a silly episode, but it wasn't
Yeah.
over the top silly. I think it was a solid episode where it's more kind of they talk about their feelings and you see Kaito wanting more about his parents and but it did feel very like he didn't care. It was more like I know that they're here, I know they're in this other realm. I don't care about anyone else, so I'm going to rush this rather than thinking. And I could see it why, but I did kind of like the way it was. It was a
Yeah.
a
It
good episode.
I think it was really great though, because I thought, like you said, it seemed like he was going that way for a bit, but then obviously halfway through he had that revelation, which obviously led on to more character development for him. But
Mm.
yeah, I do like how they haven't missed an opportunity with this episode, because although it was, as we saw from like the clips we saw in the last episode, we knew this was going to be a bit of a silly one.
Mm.
I mean, it's Sushi World. What do you expect?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad they took this opportunity to give the characters a bit of development. So they did. I think this has been more of a Kaito and Duran centered episode more than anything else.
Mm.
But it did show that the other three were trying to, pick up the slack where they were stuck.
Yeah.
So what did you think about the little twist that it's a little revelation? They're getting a bit of character building in this particular episode.
I like the character building. It was something a little bit different where normally in Sentai, from like when like the leader and the second in command's gone, you see that all the others fold. Like, oh, we're not as great and all this. Like the red's here or blue's here. Oh, we need these guys, and you get kind of like But it felt like these guys were like, right, we've got a plan. Let's execute this plan. Let's get this plan sorted. We don't need the other two, and we're going to go for it. But we need your help so much. And that's literally it. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, well, when it first sort of like started out, I was a bit like, ooh, a little bit of a reveal about more of what's going on that we can't see, and then I thought it was just gonna be, a case of this is what we're dealing with, have fun with it, and then finish it off with the usual events like with the Megazord fights and stuff like that. But I'm glad that you know we see a little bit more from everyone in this. Like you see the more from I think everyone except Sekchan. I think that's the only one that didn't really seem to have any sort of like it was one that was feeding off the others. I
Mm.
don't think there's anything central to Sekchan yet, just what everyone else is feeling. So with Juran, you've got his he's kind of like mentoring
Mm.
like Selfie, and he's trying he has come off as sort of more level of the natural sort of the person that sort of points out what you should be feeling, and it's that it's all right to feel that
Mm.
that way. Then you've got Gowon, who's seen things as they come and trying to take advantage of it. He's quite smart in this episode, using the sushi against the Kikanoid in this one. Majin was kind of faded in the background, and but Varun was given information. So yeah, actually, I take that back. Then Sek-chan. Now I think about it, Sek-chan and Majid were the ones who were kind of on the bench on this one. But yeah, I think Yak-chan, the grandma, was given a lot more into this as well. Like it gave a bit of character development in terms of the effect of Kaito's parents disappearing like they did. So the more information, the better, I think. So what happens in the next episode, I do not know.
Oh.
What do you think of the sort of character developments of Yak-chan? Because I think that's the most significant one, because we wouldn't see much of her usually.
I think you have to start character building, because I think if, say, for example, you get to like episode 30 or 35, and then you go, the grandma or Sek-chan has like character buildment, you just kind of like, oh, I don't care. Like, oh, I'm just going to leave this. Like, I don't care. I'm more invested in, say, Vrun, or I'm more invested in Jurin or whatever. And then you get kind of like, you just don't care, and it's wasted character. So I feel like if you start building it up now, at least level it up. I mean, she's not, both of them. I mean, the bird's going to be, Sek-chan's going to be more like, I'm a knowledge-based system, and that's all. And then the grandmother's going to be more like, I'm just there to feed you at the end of the day. So if you build more up, like, oh, here is your, the parents are distant, my son or daughter's disappeared. You kind of want to know more, because it affects her on the same level. Like, if she didn't feel any remorse or sadness about it, then it's more like, well, your son or daughter's just gone. What are you going to do? It's all like, I don't care. And then when they come back, it's not a big moment. So like in Lupin versus Power Ranger, have you seen Lupin versus Power Ranger all the way through?
Yes, all the way through.
Okay, cool. Spoilers in case no one's seen it. At the very end, where you see, is it the Lupin's Red? When they get their loved ones back, it's more of a more emotional level. Like, it's like, oh my god, because you've seen this level of build up. They've got this level of like, this is what we're looking for. And then when you see like the Red Ranger and all the others, because I can't remember the names, but when they go like, oh my god, it's that connection. So I can see that if they didn't do it with the grandmother or the bird, I'm just calling her the bird, then it wouldn't be there. So you'd just be more like, move on. Oh, Kaito's got his parents. Kaito's got his parents. Yay! And that's it.
We got a few messages coming through on well, I say it's messages, like one or two, like emojis mainly.
Yeah.
But we've got Vanessa Rawlins coming through, my partner. Hi.
He's upstairs talking about Sentai.
We got Richard also with us today, saying Lupin, woo, my favourite.
It was a good series. It was a fantastic series.
Yeah, it would have been fantastic if it wasn't for how they pushed back
the others.
Pato Ranger, so it wasn't as good. Like there's having two teams, and then there's having a team with an extra team behind it. Like if you're gonna like center like something as big as that, then make sure both of them shine.
Oh yeah.
But let's get on to sort of like the characters and whatnot. So I think the world was a bit silly, but the abilities that Sushi World had, I thought they were quite good. What did you think about his ability to, like, the way he enlarged his hands and actually moved people around?
I liked it. The only thought that came to my head when I was watching it was, what happens if they did destroy the monster? All those people would die. They'd be stuck things because they tried to pull them off. They couldn't, which I was like, that's a really cool ability. But if the monster just escaped and went, I'm not ever again, everyone would just be stuck there. So
yeah,
that as soon as the monster gets destroyed, that's when the power fades, because there's no power to it. I generally thought that, but I liked the ability of like just sticking everybody like to the to the walls. I thought what a really good thing was with Kaito and Jurin, when they had to fight for a little bit, like stuck together. And I generally thought that was really, really cool. I really liked that. I was like, I'm quite impressed. I'm very impressed.
Usually you have that sort of thing later on in a series. So, Yeah, it's nice to have it a little bit early, but I suppose that comes under the character development section.
Yeah.
Um, what about the actual powers that we see debuted in this? I mean, we won't talk about the actual gears that appear, and the actual ranges that those represent. But what did you think generally about how they're using uh, their abilities and whatnot? Like, there's this. Is Duran's always got using his sword and stuff. Majin isn't really using magic as much as you thought she would.
Mm.
So what is your take on them?
I think when you're using abilities, like obviously with magic, it depends on how far deep you want to go with it. Because the fact is that she could have only like say 3 spells a day or 1 spell, or the fact is she doesn't know like if she was like say you put it on the top of this like ridge where she could heal them or she could do stuff. That's what her support character is. But when you're in a fight, it's like, oh crap, what spell should I use? So I think that she's a bit more of a fighter, but she doesn't know how to do it. Duran using his sword, absolutely love, because that's how I see him anyway. I think Gown just scratching them, so I don't like him, but he's all right. He's okay for what it is.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's go on to actually moving on to our favourite parts and actually talking about characters individually.
You didn't tell me what you think. You gotta tell me these things.
Yeah, I think their abilities are a little underused at the moment. I think they're just sort of used now and again. I think they're focusing on the right things. They're going for story, and they're trying to use like more combat in this, which is surprising considering everyone. I mean, it's coronavirus. It's during film during that time, so a lot of close-up battles I didn't expect.
Yeah.
But I suppose you got to put it in there somewhere, and everyone generally is wearing a mask, which is a good thing they kind of did robots, I suppose, in a way, because having the Kikinoid, you could be wearing a mask under that or whatever you need to, and you'd be perfectly fine. So it makes me wonder if that was part of the design influence. So before they decided to do Zenkaiger, they decided, well, actually, because of coronavirus, we probably should do it this way instead of having human characters.
Yeah, I reckon that was the main case, because the fact is that you want to get like if you look at like any like sort of TV show, like I've just watched The Flash, so you can tell that they filmed it within it, so they're keeping a distance, or it's just a 2-person talking and stuff. I think with Sentai, if you had followed that sort of kind of ruling, it'd be a lot harder. So I think that as soon as the virus came up, they were still writing it, and I reckon if not, it would have been all human based. Which when you see the humans in or the human versions of them when the red Zenkaiger comes in, I think that's what we would have got. But then you're like, okay, how do we do it? Megazords. Let's just focus on this one and put them in suits where you only have one actor that if he breathes on a thing, it's covered up because the vent holes are at the back or something. I think that's the reason why they did it, and it's worked really, really well.
Yeah. I wonder if that's actually going to become a thing though, because I imagine when it becomes a Power Ranger series, there's a possibility of them reusing the suits, but at the same time, I bet those suits might actually be usable by that particular period when we see that transition. Mainly because if you're going to have something that needs constant cleaning, like these suits probably do, you're probably going to make them out of better material. So, yeah, seeing them, it wouldn't surprise me if they actually survive the next, like, 2 years and still usable for films and stuff, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think they will, because if you notice on the Ranger suits, they always either remake them or they do it. I reckon that you'll see them on display properly, and it'll be different. Like if it does get adapted into Power Rangers, it's going to be very different, because I think they're going to have to reshoot a lot and not use the guns as much. But I think if it does, then time will tell.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on. There we are. Let's move on to the actual characters. So all we've got here that we've seen is Yuran Majin, Gowon, Kaito, Vroon, Sekchan, and Yakchan. Now,
done well. I was like,
but yeah, I think this episode did sort of give a good mesh of how each of these characters are going to work in a grouping. So it was great to see all of these characters in a camera shot for certain. But which out of these lot are your favourite? Oh, thank God for that. Okay, we're back. Oh God, don't scare me like that, stream.
But
But
as your question,
come on,
she
who don't you
is.
imagine?
I I like Majin. She's my favorite character so far. And my second one's Duran. Like
Yeah.
I've not fought, I've found a bond with. Oh, there she is. She's just catching up on stream. Um, she's like Ron. I'm not too keen on at the moment because he is brand new, and I don't like Gowon because I saw what he did in the Zenkaiger like spin off. So, but Majin and
Yeah.
Duran. Couldn't remember his name yet. He's kind of my
Well, in
favorite.
this particular episode, although we got to see more of Yak-chan and her personality, this was more of a Kaito Juran episode. So I'm kind of leaning more towards them as like my favorite in this particular episode. Um, Probably more Kaito than Juran because it seemed to be focused on him, and he had the most character development within this particular episode. So yeah, I think that's probably the one I would go for as my favorite.
See, I would have for this one, I would have really liked Gowan and Duran to be in this one. Like, they be combined because I think that if you squash the feelings, so obviously they transform into mechas and stuff like that and then combine. But I really would like them to kind of feel a bond, and I really hope they do an episode like say episode 20 or whatever,
Yeah.
where it's like they can't combine anymore because Gowan hates Duran so much, which then they can't like form, and then they have to make a bonding episode where it's just like the sushi,
Yeah.
and that's it. Like one of them gets the idea, like Kaito goes like, "I'm going to wrap you in sushi." He's like, "God damn it!"
Right, let's move on to the villains. So, thank God this came back because we both figured that this would be one of those reoccurring events, and sure enough, it pretty much is. But we've got King Bakuwas, I hope I'm saying it right, Gegi, Iljiru, and Barashitara. Now, the fact that he's still got the hammer smacking down is probably something I'm gonna want in every single episode. So when it happened, I was like, oh, thank you, because I know we're not gonna get because after we lost Varun having that mishap, not having the mishap shoot, I was like, oh, but having the slam with the king, I was like, thank God one thing stayed in.
Dear Toye, how dare you take out the gun thing, but keep in the slam.
See, now out of all of these you see here, which one would you actually like as to have as a figurine, as a villain toy?
I want the wall. Like but I want on the back of it a little lever so his hand goes up and down like that.
That would be great.
I think like if they do him as a figure, I think he would be quite good. He would be a very good kind of set piece.
Yeah.
But I know they're not. I know they're not. Maybe the bird would be good. Like they did, like the puppet Navi. No, not puppet Navi. Soft toy Navi, and then they did the monkey from Tokuja. I would generally like if they did two plushies, one of Sekchan and one of the evil bird, because I think that would be good. And it will be something like 10,000 yen.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But it's interesting how the color scheme for the villains seem to be similar to the gears that we're going to be seeing later on down the line. You know, the latest ones we mentioned on last episode, where we've got different gears from different rangers and whatnot, and also possibly the ranger that could have used them as well. So that'll be fun. But which one of these villains so far is your favorite, apart from obviously the king for the toy?
I don't know. I haven't really formed like a favorite, like say if it was like Korag or if it was like Basco or something like that. I haven't really kind of formed stuff because I think maybe we'll get when it's the Gokai Ranger, when he comes in, if he's the bad guy, maybe I will go, oh, I really like that. So, I think I'm going to reserve one because if I go, oh, I like that one, like someone else will come back and be like, oh, I want that one.
Yeah.
How about you? Who's your favorite apart from the wall?
You know what? I might have to go with Iljiru because although we have Barashitara having some funny quirks, I don't know. And then, you know what? Thinking about that again, Barashitara, because Barashitara has like this little, I don't know, this personality where he's serious, but there's stuff that happens that sort of take that serious down a notch, like when he slipped over, and in this particular episode where we'll get to it obviously, but when he's trying to return home and then Kaito's attached to him and he just walks it off like, yeah, you can't come with me, bye. I just love his character in that sort of essence. It really is refreshing because it's nice to see serious characters and it's nice to see funny characters, but seeing a character that's not too serious but still has that aesthetic is quite enjoyable and hardly ever seen, as far as I'm aware, in Super Sentai. But yeah, let's move on to the actual monster or Kikonoid of the week. Oh wait, no, that's not yet. Oh, I think I've lost the image. Oh, we'll come back to that.
Sushi World.
But yeah, I want to quickly actually talk about the world that he's in, because I really love how sort of dark and sort of well lit, and it's like there's so much going on in this image. I really like the Kikai world that they have. Like, did you notice this when you were watching the episode? Like, you know, how detailed it is, the atmosphere, the aesthetic that it has.
I've got to admit, it was slightly different. I feel like looking at it now, because you see it so quickly. Like, here's the world, there's the bad guys, but it feels more like a Tron world, or like Terminator world, where it's more like the red lights will watch you where it is. Like, you know, wherever you go, there is someone that is going to be there, and it's meant to be menacing.
Yeah.
Here is the world that you're in. It kind of like the building that's like the big square building, which is like by the red light, looks more like, say, a Star Trek world. Like, you know, it's technology like Cardassia or something like that. So I kind of like it. It's like, this is sort of you'd get in an art book for like concept art, and I would really love to see the concept art for it.
Yeah, it would be great for that, wouldn't it? I think you're right, though. It does have a sort of like Terminator vibe, which might emphasize how society is in this particular world. Because as they say, commoners are treated badly in this, and even Duran said people have gone missing, which is why Kaito, which is why you can relate to Kaito so well. But let me just see if I can find my missing image. No, I might have to go without it. If it pops up, we'll go through it. But yeah, yeah, I really like the looks of it, and I can't wait to explore it if we do manage to enter it at some point, which I imagine will happen. It just depends on how well they actually do it in a live action show. So okay, let's go on to like one of the first scenes. So I thought this was really good as well, because you sent this image to me too. It was nice to see them in like how they're living, and the fact that they're all sleeping in the same room and stuff. It's like, oh, but at the same time, it's like, that must be very difficult.
Yeah, so overstepping. Like, I think I would love, like, because each one is you can tell. So like Durin's like starfishing.
Yeah.
Then you have Gowron's sleeping like a cat. And then obviously Varun's just sleeping as it is. I would have loved to have seen Gowron on top of something like like the wardrobe or something like that. But obviously you've got to show him there. But yeah, like, and we all know Majine's going to be sleeping with his grandma.
Yeah, I only just realized
in the same room as.
Yeah, I only just noticed she's not in this image, which makes sense considering she's a female character. So it's not like they're genderless Kikonoids. It's there is that sort of privacy, depending on what kind of Kikonoid you are. But yeah, I thought it was a nice lot of character building involved with Kaito and Yak-chan bonding, having a cup of tea, not sleeping well, and Duran listening. Yeah, a lot going on in this episode, considering it's supposed to be a silly one. Let's talk about the revelation. Like, all the information was released about his family visiting Kikai World, which they suspect might have been an accident. But then we find out that Kaito's got the plan, which is a really smart plan, to be honest. I'm glad that revelation was made, that he needs to try and get into Kikai World so he can see if he's any clues to his family. And obviously, not doing it so well. So what did you find that quite good about this particular scene?
I think it's just, here is the typical weird and like not anime wise, like the Sentai thing that they always do.
Mm.
So like it's one of those things when they get hurt or when they get slapped, it's not like you're physically getting hurt. It's more like it's a silly moment. Oh, it's silly, and that's when I'm guessing Vron goes, oh yeah, this is how you get in right here, and it's like, oh yeah, that's it. I think that is literally like the only thing that they did, and it's just kind of open. This is then when Kaito goes, right, I'm just not caring about the team. I have my goal. I'm getting in, and that's it. But it was just a silly thing, and again, the green screen just didn't put me off because I knew what was coming, but it just looked weird. When he suddenly has this long neck, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, it was very cartoonic.
No.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that they've got some built-in laws for this though. Like, you can't just go back when you want. There's technology involved to go between Kiko world and Kaito's world. So I'm glad they're creating substance and also a something that the team has to go towards. There's a goal here, and even in the early stages, we know what they need to do. Kind of like, like it never really was in Go Busters, but obviously it was a changing point, wasn't it, when they found out that their family's still in that world and end up being trapped, and they've been trying so hard to rescue. They tried to rescue them and defeat the bad guy with that in mind. So yeah, it's nice to see that there is going to be more development as we go along. So this particular scene we got. Would you like to start off with this one?
And I've got to see it. If it's one that I think it is, I hope it is because I just found it very weird. Please let it be the thing I think it is.
Yeah, it's.
Come on.
It's the sushi part. Yeah, it's when Sushi World basically manages to get Kaito while he was focused on trying to defeat the enemies early and whatnot. And not only is he wrapped up with Duran in a sort of sushi, but he's also been wasabi'd.
Yeah, I looked at the scene and my mind didn't go to wasabi or sauce. It was just the naughty sauce. That's how I saw it, and I was just like I don't know why they did that. Like, I could just imagine him just being wrapped in sushi, and that was all I wanted to see.
Yeah.
But then there was this, and I was just like, I imagine like Duran going, "Oh no, oh no, no, no," but it wasn't too bad. It was just a very weird sort of scene. Yeah, that's the only reason why I sent it, because I was just like, that's a bit weird.
Yeah, it was a bit odd, but I'm glad I didn't focus on that. But yeah, imagine that getting like hit with wasabi sauce, because that stuff is not just spicy. It's like, I mean, it's not exactly chili powder. I don't know if that would be worse, but yeah, it's probably like mint. If mint gets near your eyes or stuff, it's like, oh, too much.
Right in the face.
So yeah, we got everyone wrapped up in different locations here. What did you think of this particular scene?
If it's a scene where they're all in the park and then being plastered on different stuff, so I'm still waiting for it to catch up.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. If they're all attached, I could see it going on. Like, you go here, you can't move, you get wrapped around this thing. The one thing I did think of is, we'll probably see it in a bit, is the amount of duct tape they must have used for sushi. Like, giant industrial duct tape. Yeah, like, it was a thing where it wasn't just like, oh, I can just get up. It was more like, why didn't they eat the sushi thing?
Yeah.
To free themselves?
Yeah, that's a good point, I suppose.
But the fact that they got stuck around it, it's like, I want to visit these locations. Just be like, it's so cool. But yeah, like getting stuck on a bike. But you even had like loved ones, like their family and stuff, just sitting around and wait. Like, oh, well, you're stuck to this thing, might as well sit and wait it out. I like that sort of thing. That was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I really feel sorry for that guy on the bike. That looks very uncomfortable. Even like not just like show wise, but like in terms of filming this particular scene, that can't be good.
At least his back cracked, and that was all he wanted. That was his payment for this one thing.
Okay, so yeah, we had Juran and Kaito stuck together. Even the
Mm,
wasabi sauce over Juran. The fact that it transitioned to night, I was not expecting that. Um,
mm.
but it's nice that something can't, like an episode doesn't end abruptly and just doesn't just happen in one day. What did you think of the sort of conversation that Kaito um, Duran had when they were trying to, when Kaito had the revelation that his parents that were too much on his mind, that he got everyone stuck and still in trouble, and then Duran's trying to tell him, well, I'm just sort of giving you the information here, sorry, but like
It's absolutely fine.
where's Duran's like saying like it makes perfect sense, like you like you can't find your family. I don't even know where mine are, and that's normal for a commoner.
Mm.
So yeah, what did you think of this sort of this chat between these two characters regarding that revelation?
See, now I know it because I saw it in Thingy.
I was trying so
But I'm
hard.
guessing, yeah, no, I'm guessing it was that sort of talk. I like it. It's because I haven't seen it in subbed. Like, but you can read. It's reading the room, so you know that he's more like talking about his family. He's talking about stuff. So that sort of thing is like every single person will do it. If it was like roles reversed and it was in the real life, and it was like say you or me doing that for our family,
Yeah.
that's the one thing is like you feel bad like, oh crap, I got all these people like in danger. I didn't think about you guys. I just wanted my own thing. It's a thing that you would talk about. So it's that's the bonding experience that you have. So when they were talking about this now, it's more like, okay, I can see the point. I know exactly what they're doing. And then it's more that I won't let this happen ever again, but it will happen at some point. But it's more he realized this now rather than was just like, oops a daisy, gonna put you all in danger.
Yeah, it was good character building in this episode. So yeah, nighttime again, showing them all on the floor. I feel so sorry for them. Um,
What did you think about it?
yeah, it was good to had they had sort of like they were stuck in trouble, and it's also nice to see this form of you make a mistake and this is the repercussions of that. So yeah, like once again adding to character development, adding to the laws, giving us more in this episode than I expected. Would you agree with that?
I would.
All right. No, it's the images have gone out of order.
See, loved ones waiting in the park for them. I love that part.
So yeah, I'm gonna have to scroll through all of these. So yeah, I'm glad that Kaito made the revelation, and this is during a time when. Oh wait, on actually, are these in the wrong order? Okay, so this is about it. So yeah, um, I liked how they decided to lure out Kikai. Sorry, not the Kikanoid, known
Sushi
as
World.
Sushi World, with sushi. It makes so much sense. Like I don't know how it can be biologically imperative that he needs to be around sushi. But I
Yeah,
suppose that just hot wired into him. I'm not too sure. But yeah, it was
his
good to see
face.
these three all together. What did you think of this particular scene?
It was the generic, we'll call you out type thing. Like you don't know who we are because we've got a mask on or we've got something that you won't know, and that's it. Like it's like you can't make sushi like this. It's like I'm making it really badly. Someone going to come out and stop us. We see it all the time.
Yeah,
So seeing them go for it as well, again, which had the whole thing of we don't need the leader. We don't need the other one. We can do this on our own. We've got to save our friend, and that was it. I did love the camera angles though.
yeah, they were good.
Whoever,
There we go. Thank God for that. It's kind of going on and off. It's a bit weird. But yeah, I liked how Sushi World had weapons that were centered around that. So his technology, like the technology wasn't fused. So he still had weapons that would make sense, like those
yeah,
missiles. Sorry, let's move on to yeah. Got Kaito making the revelation that he needs to fight because the other three are in trouble. And then we have the
mm.
debut of the Q Ranger gear being used accidentally, I might add. What did you think of the Q Ranger power being luck?
I literally remember watching the first episode of Space Sentai. I can never get the name right. Kiyomiya. No. I'm calling it Space Sentai.
Q-Ranger's good.
Where he said that Q-Ranger, yeah. So where he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm lucky. I imagine that would be it." So as soon as he used it, so rather than having it, it wasn't like a weapon. It was more, "I'm now giving you luck." And it's like, "How did you get here?" Well, the water thing hit me, and then we rolled down the hill,
Yeah.
and then we were on a truck,
And
and then we got balloons, and then a bird came out of nowhere. It sounds like one of those stories that you would tell you tell at the pub or something like that. You'd be like, really, that happened to you? And then for some strange reason, we just literally fell. But it's the way that they use an anime, like an anime or animated.
I wouldn't
bird,
even go that
and
far.
It's just like
it's like the worst budget bird ever. I'm waiting to talk about that.
it was just weird. I love the fact that it worked very well, and it was something that I think would, like, you can see happening again. But it wasn't just like, here's a ranger's power. It was more like, here's a ranger's natural luck. So yeah, I like that. I think that was my entire favorite part of the entire episode, because it was just so weird.
Yeah.
But also those balloons can hold up a robot that probably weighs a ton, a fully grown man, and a bench. So Balloon Company, we applaud you for your work.
Oh, they're clearly Kikai World balloons. Yeah, they made them.
Exactly.
But yeah, the only thing I hate about this bird is why someone must have been like really laughing their head off when they decided to do this. Because like I know certain Super Sentais have had like that kind of animation, but still do it with realistic looking birds. And to do it with something like that, it's like why? I think that's where the budget went. That's when they were like, we've run out.
I think they could have used maybe C-chan or Sek-chan. Like, that would have been more appropriate.
Yeah,
like, he's just come out of
true.
nowhere.
That's
Like, I've got to go help them.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, no, you're not. And I was like, but it made me giggle. So I was like, I can appreciate this one.
Right. Let's go on to the actual morph they had when they were stuck together. What did you think of this?
I liked it. Like, when you see stuff in like Power Rangers or other Sentais, when something happens, like, I don't know, let's say guy gets covered in goo or something, and when they morph and stuff, you don't see it, but they worked around it really well. Like, it was a different type of morph, and I really liked it. It's a one-off, like, you will never see it again. But, you know, rather than doing the whole thing separately, they were like, oh no, we'll combine it and we'll make it like it is. And I thought that's perfect for the way it is. I absolutely love it. So
yeah.
I was like more for this than anything. So I loved it. I thought it was great. And especially that you could just see him behind as well. I was like, perfect, boys. Well done.
Yeah, the like Ranger suits look really good, like close proximity like that as well. It's nice to see it up close. They're like, you know, you can't really do much when you're like doing a Sentai during the coronavirus, I'm guessing. But I just love the detail, like seeing it up close and in HD. I might add, like you couldn't lower the quality. It'll be like, no, you can't do that. But yeah,
we're not going 420, boys. We're not going 420.
Let's see if I've got any other images before we proceed, because I'm worried these have gone in a weird order again. So I just want to slide through. Yeah, it's gonna be a weird order. So that's just I'll just try and remember where I'm at. Okay, so so when we had the mecha sort of go up and we had the fight, what did you think of the debut of the Rue Soldier gear? What did you think of that ability and having the sword as the representation of this?
I thought it was quite cool, because I think mainly what we're going to see from any of this is it's either going to be an ability or it's going to be a weapon. So, like, with him getting the Rear Soldier sword, to me, I was like, that's fine. Like, I understood that, because that's the same power of the Sentai. You know, so it's more that particular power in that one wasn't like it was the souls, but the main thing was the weapon. It was always the sword that was the main focus. So using that, gaining it, and then jumping up and using it. And I also really like the fact, pardon me, that they used the sound effects from the series. So it wasn't just like a slash; it was like "we a soldier" or whatever, and I was like, "That's really cool." So I generally thought that was something that I could get behind. I like it when they do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it went kaboom as well.
Yeah,
Actually, I
that's
love
why.
that.
Yeah, that's what I like. I like it when they do that. So it wasn't just like say the guy who does the sound for the gun. It wasn't like him going like kaboom. It was kaboom. I liked it. I thought it
Yeah,
was cool.
I think the ability was very significant as well. Like there is a few times when they're able to use their powers just against ginormous opponents.
Mm.
So yeah, this I think Rue Soldier was represented well. So let me just go all the way. Oh, here we go. So we got the actual. I love the when we had the Kikai Rangers transform, become the mechs, and go and face, and then they get trapped in the sushi, and then they're on a conveyor belt.
Mm.
I just love the look of it. It doesn't. I mean, they clearly
Yep.
use the toys, but it was just fun to watch, just seeing all them going around. It really was quite entertaining for me. What did you think of the scene
Mm.
where where they're trapped and Kaito had to save them with the Russo caliber?
I
Sorry, no,
liked it.
Russo Chem.
Yeah. I liked it. I thought generally it was a good way of using toys. So you know that if you want to get prop weapons or stuff like that, or prop Zords, just buy the toys. You got it right there. But I also like the fact that when they're starting to grow bigger and bigger, like the monster's like, nope, I'm crushing that down. So they did get a fully transformation, but it was a very quick way of saying, hey, let's just do this. Also, the paint on the toys were great. So
Yeah, they must have
you're not going
added.
to get that from the shops.
They must have added to it. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, we've talked about that. I need to go back. So the Mecha Battle itself, and excuse me for going through all these images again, but the Mecha Battle itself wasn't anything new. We had the actual combinations as we know and see them. But what did you think of their specials actually merging together to create the symbol? Because I thought that was very significant. Because using their abilities normally it wouldn't really matter, but to see that there actually is a significance when they're partnered together when both Megazords, sorry, both Mecha are formed. What did you think
Mm.
of Zenkaios and both their forms having a special attack like that?
I think to me that was we need to get this done quickly. Let's combine our looks. Let's combine this together, and let's do this. And that's what I generally kind of thought. I literally just thought it's like you've hurt them in such a way. We're going to get this over and done with, and then go for it. And that's the only kind of thing that popped into my head when watching it. What about you?
Yeah, I think I honestly thought like although they couldn't really debut anything mecha wise, it was good to see that there was at least something they could show, like that these particular mecha or megazords can actually do. So a special attack that utilizes both of them like this is great to see because both of them had a slash and attack, and I never would have thought it would become this later on down the line. So it must have
Mm.
been what they were thinking when they done the concept originally.
Yeah.
So I don't think I have the other images come through, unfortunately. So I think we'll just have to pass on the rest of that and go straight to the rating.
Yeah.
Okay, so episode rating. How many gears would you give this, Ellen?
Kaito, do you want to figure that? I think I'm going to give it 4.5. 4.5.
You know what? I would agree with 4. I almost said 3, but because of the character development involved in this one, where you've got
Mm.
Kaito and Duran, bonding and sharing how they feel and the revelations involved, but then you've also got Yak-chan and more information about how Kikai World works. I think that is very significant. Hold the phone.
Mm.
I just realised. You know that image I was talking about? We forgot that was in the wrong order. There is actually
Yeah.
one more I did not talk about.
Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go back. Just real quick. Oh, hang on. There we go. Oh,
Dun.
where? There we go. Yeah, this particular scene, Kaito trying to still go back into the Kikai world on the back
Yeah.
of the general. I thought this was great. It not only was a comedic moment, and it's one of those things where it's like, well, of course, and it shows this general's characteristics, but it was just so funny. It was it was such a great thing to add to this episode. What did you think?
I generally thought it was one of those like, I've got you now. You've got to take me to this world. And he's like, oh no. And because obviously in my head I was kind of guessing what he was saying, where he's like, oh, no humans are allowed here anymore or something, or organic material can't come through. So I like the fact that he was just like, no, you can stay here. And he's like, oh, damn it. It was just something that you don't normally see. So I think it added to the silly, but it wasn't silly type thing.
Yeah, it was basically providing another sort of goal that they had to meet. As I said, there was it didn't say whether or not you had to be. There was never said if a Kikonoid needed to go through or if it was because he was human. But it does stress the fact that there are terms that are going to need to be met before they can even go into Kikai World. So I do like that. So yeah, sorry. Now that we've done that, but yeah.
I give it till episode 40 till he gets into that world. Episode 40. Or like 41 before it ends.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that pretty much sums up everything. I agree with that. It was almost three gears, but we got 4, especially because of those elements involved, the humor as well. And like I said, that general's got to be Barishitaro's probably got to be my favorite villain out of the lot now. But yeah, I think we have one more thing to say, which is that there was a silhouette released showing the which is, I think he's called Two Kaiser. I think that's what he's going to be named. So or as I like to call him, Gokai Zenkai. But
it's not a bad name.
Yeah, I think it's great that we see that silhouette of him, and I'll try and I'll show that next time. Things not quite working with me. I think I need a refresh, but it was really, really good to see that we're getting more and more information out. Now, I wonder if he's actually going to be purple rather than gold when we initially thought, because it does seem like it's setting it up that way, where we've got with the purple gears instead of gold gears being shown. Because I think gold's the general color, isn't it, already? Yeah. So
they mentioned it was going to be gold. If it is, that's actually cool, because again, it'd be purple thing. Because you got to remember, like Zenkaiger and all the others are different colors, and they use like the what do you call it? They use gold gears.
Yeah.
Then you had him use red gears and stuff like that. So if you make him gold, then that's cool. If they make him purple, that's even better. And I think it will be something that it would be. Oh God damn it, Josh! Damn him saying Neelix. So yeah, I don't know. I think it'd be cool. I think he will do it for a while. I hope he's like the bad guy for a lot, like for quite some time, and then he just comes in with it.
Yeah. Well, I think that covers everything for today. Hopefully everyone can tell us their favorite episode and stuff in the comments. Sorry we didn't get around to it today, because I think there was people where we've got disconnection and stuff doesn't probably help. So where can everyone find you on social media, Erlen?
Erlen on YouTube and on the Instagram, and on the Twitter is Mainstream Live, and on the Twitch is the Erlen. As in not the Heirloom, that would be cool, but Heirloom as in general.
And you can.
How about you?
You can find me at Henshin Asset on Twitter and Instagram, and I hope to hear more from you guys next time when we do the next episode, which might be an interesting one where we have to wait and see, because we've got a new character debuting, so that should be fun. Yeah. All right, okay. Oh, hang on, Richard just put in, my favourite is the ones I've seen.
There we go. Thank you, Richard.
Thanks, Richard. Always glad for your input. All right, see you next time, my dudes, and thank you, Erlen. See you again soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye.